Lesson 5.3 is solving multi-step inequalities. And when you have an inequality, you're going to have a greater than sign, a less than sign, a greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So you might want to write on here that that's what these mean. Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. When you go to graph these, if you have greater than or less than both of these, you're going to use an open circle on the number to show that it doesn't actually own the number, but it's greater than or less than the number. And when you go to graph these, you're going to use a closed circle because it shows ownership. And when you have less than or equal to, so these two right here, you're going to shade to the left. And these two, greater than or equal to, you're going to shade to the right. All right, I do want to point out, this is a very important statement right here. For inequalities, you need to make sure that you reverse the inequality symbol when you multiply or divide by the negative number. Not just if there's a negative involved, but you have to be specifically multiplying or dividing by the negative number in order to reverse the inequality sign. All right, let's do a few examples. Here we have 3x minus 7 is less than 8. Well, it's just a two-step inequality. So we would add the 7 to both sides to get 3x is less than 15. We would divide by 3 and end up with x is less than 5. When you go to graph this, you draw your number line. And I'm asking you to put at least 3 numbers on, and I would really prefer if you put the number before and the number after. And let's go ahead and just use the integers for now until we get to some rational numbers. This is x is less than 5. I'm okay if you want to put the circle above the number line, or you could put it on the number line. You'll see both ways done. And then since this is less than, I want to go ahead and shade it or draw the arrow out to the left. So there is x is less than 5. Let's do a couple more. This one is a two-step, so we would add the 5 to both sides. 2x is then less than or equal to 28. If I divide by 2, x is less than or equal to 14. So when I go to graph this one, I'll go ahead and put on 13, 14, and 15. It's less than or equal to, so now I'm going to use a closed circle, and I would draw it to the left again because it's less than or equal to. Up here, negative 1/4 times the quantity p minus 12 is greater than negative 2. So initially it looks like we're going to shade it to the right, but let's wait until we're done with the problem. To solve this, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. The reciprocal happens to be a negative 4. So I end up with p minus 12 because it unlocks the quantity, and I end up with a positive 8 over here. But I did multiply by the negative, so I flipped the sign. So it's actually less than. I'll add 12 and I end up with p is less than 20. So when I draw this one out, I'll put down 19, 20, and 21. It's open circle because it's only less than, and again, I'm shading this to the left. Let's try this one. It's multi-step. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2x, so I get 4x, and I will add 7, so 4x is greater than 24. If I divide by 4, I get x is greater than 6. So I will put 5, 6, 7, open circle. This time, whoops, pretend that's straight. I'm shading it to the right. Okay, this slide is just information. Basically, this is saying when you solve your inequality and all of the variables drop out and you're left with this statement, a statement that is true, -3 is less than 0, then when you graph it, you graph a number line and you shade the entire number line because any value will satisfy whatever that particular inequality happened to be. Or if all of your variables drop out and you're left with a false statement, 4 is less than -1. That's not true. So you graph a number line, put some numbers on it, but then you do not shade it at all. So let's try a couple of these. Okay, first thing I'm going to do here is distribute. So I have 14x plus 5 is less than 14x minus 21. If I were to subtract 14x from both sides, they would drop out, leaving 5 is less than -21. That is not true. So I will just go ahead and just put some numbers on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Since, oops, my arrows are going in both directions, it does assure me that the negatives will be included. And I'm done. I don't have to shade it or anything because it's false. Let's try this one. I'll distribute the 6. I get 12x is, 12x minus 1 is greater than 12x minus 6. Again, if I were to subtract 12x from both sides, I'd end up with -1 is greater than -6. That's true. So I'll put some numbers on here. Let's go ahead and put some negatives on. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. This is true for all values. So I could, actually let's just go ahead and shade it. It'd be the entire number line since it's true for everything. Okay, let's go ahead and do one of my favorite types of problems. Car wash. Use the sign shown below. So gas was $2.09, so this was a while ago, and a car wash is $8. A gas station charges 10 cents less per gallon of gasoline if a customer also gets a car wash. What are the possible amounts in gallons of gas that you can buy if you also get a car wash and can spend at most $20? So it's going to cost you $8 for the car wash. Plus, since you're getting the car wash, it's only going to cost you, it's going to cost 10 cents less, so $1.99 per gallon of gas. And you can spend at most, so less than or equal to, $20. So here's the scenario. And now we need to go ahead and solve this. So when we solve this, we would subtract 8, so we're going to get $1.99. X is less than or equal to, 12. If I divide this by $1.99, I have 12 divided by $1.99, and X is less than or equal to 6.03. So it's approximately, if we're going to buy whole gallons, then you can buy less than or equal to 6 gallons. You can't buy more, but you can buy less than or equal to 6. So they're not asking us to graph this. So we can just write this. Less than or equal to 6 gallons, 6.03 gallons, or you can say at most 6.03 gallons. All right, that is it. I will put the assignment up on my website for you to check it out if you want. I'm not organized enough right now to actually have the assignment to give you, but if you check back, I'm sure it'll be on there. All right.